Rex Heuermann. I'm an architect. I'm an architectural consultant. I'm a troubleshooter. Born and raised on Long Island. Okay. Been working in Manhattan since 1987. And it's actually a cabinet maker's hammer.
The work is not done here, but this is a major, major step forward.
My reaction is, this is nuts. It's really, really crazy. You never know, you never know who your neighbors are, right?
Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream with me, Gilgo K. This is Grizzly True Crime and we are back today discussing the Gilgo Beach murders, also known as LISK, which stands for Long Island Serial Killer. So if you ever see LISK in the title or hashtag list, then you know what it means. Some people might be new and not know what it is. Long Island Serial Killer. So we're going to be looking at that case today. We've done a deep dive on this case from when that special task force was formed, which was, let me just get the date of that. That was amazing. It was in February of 2022. And so we watched that press conference together and we've covered the case ever since. So this arrest was incredible. I can't imagine how the families felt getting some answers. And let's hope that now Maureen Brainard-Barnes' family will get answered. That is what is rumored that's going to happen tomorrow. We've got some people reporting to mainstream media that they have, they know people close to the investigation, and that's what's going to happen tomorrow because Rex Heuermann will be back in court. He was actually meant to be back in court on February 6th, so him being back in court tomorrow is a big deal. And of course, in New York, they don't live stream from the courtroom, but the district attorney normally has a press conference afterwards to update us all on what's going on. So we're going to be watching that live tomorrow. I'm going to give you all these details in a moment. I just first want to say hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to all my moderators. Thank you so much for everything you do. Welcome to all my patrons. There's new patrons joining every week or so. I wish it was every day. Come check it out, okay? There's a lot of stuff going on in there. So thank you so much to all the patrons. Welcome to my members, all the OGs, which is original Grizzlies over here, okay? And everyone who's going to subscribe today. Maybe this is the first time you are here with us. I hope that you enjoy it. We're a nice bunch. We're known as the Grizzlies. And all you got to do is subscribe, okay? If you ever feel lost and you want to know, a little bit of information about me, like where am I from? I'm from South Africa, right? But I've updated my website and the About Me page has got some details there. There's links there. Everything is nice and clear for you, okay? So grizzlytruecrime.com if you ever feel lost. Also, thank you to everyone who sent stickers. I think I missed a few because I wasn't live yet. Donna Raviri from New Zealand, thank you so much. You said, hi, Grizzlies. Hope you all have a great day. Also, someone who talks about LISK a lot is Joe Giacalone. Joseph Giacalone is how you might spell it. Giacalone. And one of our mods, Lieutenant Peter Pranzo, was actually on his show yesterday, which we all watched. And I'm sure he's also going to, be talking about Joe Giacalone, about this LISK case. So when I was there, we learned that it's Bold and Dangerous's birthday today. So happy birthday to you, Bold and Dangerous. Thank you for all your support and always being here in chat. Okay, are we ready? I've got a presentation for you. I got documents. I'm going to remind you of a few things. And I thought we'd do this this live stream today talking about it so that tomorrow we're not all flustered and wondering what. You're going to be prepared, okay? We're going to wait for that press conference and be prepared. All right. Thank you, Giovanna. You say proud Patreon. Okay. So if you haven't yet, before I get into this, like and share hashtag LISK. You can also say hashtag Maureen Brainard-Barnes. There's lots of hashtags in my description box. If you want a case background, you can look at my description box as well, all right? Thank you, Janie's child. An OG. All right, media advisory. Now, this is what came out, which has got everyone buzzing. There was already rumor of this because last week, I think it was Newsday or someone put out an article saying that Rex Heuermann is going to be indicted on a fourth murder, which would be very likely the Gilgo Four, the fourth victim in the Gilgo Four murders, right? The Gilgo Beach murders. So, of course, there's other bodies that were found there on Long Island, and there could be more charges in the future. But they've been talking for a while about Maureen Brainard-Barnes because Rex Heuermann has been a prime suspect in her murder already before he was arrested. As in, they said that the LISK, Long Island serial killer, was the suspect in her murder, okay? So, the thing is, there was already like rumor about this last week, and now here's this media advisory. They say, Suffolk County District Attorney Tierney announcing major development in Gilgo Beach homicide investigation. Suffolk County District Attorney Raymond A. Tierney, Suffolk County Sheriff Errol D. Toulon Jr., Acting Suffolk County Police Commissioner Robert Waring, because remember, Police Commissioner Rodney Harrison is now retired. Oh, I'm still sad about that. Are you also? I felt sad about it. So anyway, if you didn't know, he retired. And so there's going to be Acting Suffolk County Police Commissioner Robert Waring, as well as additional representatives of the Gilgo Beach Homicide Investigation Task Force will hold a press conference following a court proceeding in Riverhead, New York, in People of the State of New York versus Rex A. Heuermann, to update and announce a significant development in the investigation by the Gilgo Beach Homicide Investigation Task Force. Now, court proceeding is scheduled for Tuesday, January 16th of 2024, 9:30 a.m. So, of course, that would be Eastern time. I'm saying that because we are from all over the world. So, for me, when it's Eastern time, I add 6 hours. So, that for me will be like 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'll be ready. We might start just a little bit earlier because New York is punctual as heck. Like, wow. Every time they're like, okay, we'll have a press conference at like 9:30, then by 9:15 they're already live, and we're like, what? So we'll be ready, okay? We'll be ready to go. And now the interesting thing is, in the email that was sent, they said that, and thank you to MB Inc. for sending me this today. They said in the body of the email that will be live streamed on District Attorney Ray Tierney's Instagram account, and I'm like, that's a new one. Like, can we boost the sound? On his Instagram account? Oh, he's such a diva. I'm like, okay, you go, District Attorney Ray Tierney, on your Instagram account. We'll be watching. So anyway, that's tomorrow at 9:30. So this is what is highly anticipated, and of course, Shaman, Maureen Brainard-Barnes' family must be on the edge of their seat unless they've already told them, just waiting for answers. And we're going to get into why. I mean, it's been a really long time. Okay? So Pamela B says, what are they announcing? We don't know. We don't have complete certainty. But what's being rumored that they're announcing is that Rex Heuermann will be indicted on a fourth murder charge, which will be for the murder of Maureen Brainard-Barnes. Okay? So Stefan says, the district attorney Insta? Interesting. Yes. That is what his manager said. You know, the person who emails us out said that we can all expect to have to see the press conference live stream on his Instagram. I just thought that's very different, unique, very interesting. Thank you so much, Archer Girl. I really, really appreciate it. All right, so that's what's happening. Where? Suffolk County District Attorney's Office. Okay, press credentials are required. It's this lady. Yeah, please RSVP 2. Okay, so we've got that. Now I'm going to first show you the presentation before we get to this, because this will just remind us. Okay, we've read through this entire probable cause affidavit. It's in my video section. It's on the playlist. So if you need a refresher, like how did they catch Rex Heuermann? You know, what was it that they had on him? All of that, because many people ask that every time we talk about this case. It's all in the playlist, and it's especially when we read through this, because it's a really good explanation of how it all went down, okay? All right. Bold and Dangerous says, please, guys, settle down now and listen to G. I like that. I like that. Thank you so much. And it's your birthday. Happy birthday, and thank you for telling everyone that. Yes, everyone put the cupcakes down. We're focusing now. All right, so got a few things to show you, as I said. So let's get back to the document just now. In South Africa, when we say just now, I know the rest of the world is like, what does just now mean? Just now or now means soon, okay? Now, let's look at this. Now, Rex Heuermann, just to remind you, he was arrested July 13th of 2023. Okay, he's been charged with 3 out of the 4 Gilgo Beach murders. I'll show you the map and everything again that's on this presentation, just so that you can remind yourself, refresh yourself, what are we talking about here? So remember initially, they were looking for one missing person, Shannan Gilbert. And then they discovered all these other bodies. I mean, how scary is that? That is so scary. Oh my word. And so they called them the Gilgo Four, but then they found more and more bodies. Of course, there's 11 in total that could be attached to this case, but at least Rex Heuermann has been charged with 3 murders and now might be charged with the 4th. That is what people are saying is going to happen tomorrow. So let's see. I'm saying it very cautiously because what if it isn't that? What if it's something else? I mean, there was also rumor that they might soon identify the, unidentified the Asian Doe, and there's other victims that are unidentified too, so we'll see. Anyway, so he was arrested July 13th of 2023. He's been charged with 3 out of 4 Gilgo Beach murders. That would be for Amber Lynn Costello, Megan Waterman, and Melissa Barthélemy. He'll be in court tomorrow, January 16th of 2024. A press conference will follow. We'll be live for it, so make sure that you subscribe with your notifications on because you don't want to miss it, okay? Now, you see the 3 that he's been charged with. Those 3 victims were wrapped in burlap sacks. So it was, they called it like camouflaged hunting, I think it's like duck hunting or hunting burlap type material. You know what's interesting is it's often reported that the Gilgo Four were all wrapped in burlap. But in fact, the victim that we'll be discussing today and focusing on today, Maureen Brainard-Barnes, was not wrapped in burlap. Her body was not found wrapped in burlap, even though she's one of the 4 that were found in very close proximity to each other. So keep that in mind, okay? Tomorrow could be very interesting because on one of these victims, there was a hair found on the burlap type material, and that hair was matched to Rex Heuermann's wife. And there was also DNA that they compared to the pizza that he ate, and he didn't eat the crust and he threw it away, and they matched that DNA eventually to him. Okay. So I wonder what they have. There was also a hair found on, I think they said the belt, a part of the belt that Maureen Brainard-Barnes' body had been bound with. So that's going to be interesting too. Is that also going to be a match to his wife? Is it going to be a match to Rex Heuermann? Or what do they have now? I'm hoping they'll explain a little bit of that to us tomorrow, okay? Joy says, what if? I mean, it could be. You said, what if they are actually arresting us? It could be. Now, Maureen Brainard-Barnes is our focus for this live stream because this could be what they're going to be, telling us tomorrow, that Rex Heuermann would be indicted with her murder. And the family has been waiting so long for answers. She was the first out of the Gilgo Four victims to go missing. And yet, the others have got answers. They knew, okay, well, this guy is being charged with their murders, and Maureen's family is still just waiting. Shame. Okay. Maureen Brainard-Barnes was 25 years old when she was last seen. She's from Norwich. Did I say it right, guys? You guys taught me last time. Norwich, Connecticut. She was a single mother. She was 4'11". That's 1.5 meters and 105 pounds. Very light, 48 kilograms. She was last seen in her room at the Super 8 Hotel in Midtown Manhattan. Now, I just quickly want to see, it's now called the Hotel at Times Square. So the name has since changed, just in case you want to see the area. I've got it on the maps here, but there's not too much to see. It's actually pretty close to Grand Central. I love Grand Central Station. Rob says, thanks for covering this very important update, G. I'm looking forward to an official update tomorrow. Thank you for the sticker and for the coffees, Rob. So, yeah, she was last seen in a room at the Super 8 Hotel. She had left her home in Norwich, Connecticut to meet a client that she had booked through CRAIGSLIST. Do you guys remember way back, this case was called like the CRAIGSLIST killer or the CRAIGSLIST ripper, things like that? Ooh, all horrible names. We never want to give them cool names, I mean, I know LISK. At least that's Long Island serial killer. It's not like, like the books I wrote when it's Jeffrey Dahmer, the Milwaukee Monster, or all those ones, they often give serial killers like cool names, and I just don't really like it. Okay, how about you? Okay, so then Maureen, to remind you, she was last seen July 9th of 2007. She was reported missing, I think it was on July 14th. That's 16 and a half years ago. 6,034 days that her family has wondered what happened to her. Now, they know that they found her remains, but they are waiting for answers. Because if it isn't Rex that is indicted or charged with her murder, who is it? Who is it? So they want answers, and we want that for them as well, right? Okay, so she was the first of the Gilgo Four to go missing. Thank you also to Catch LISK on X for some of these beautiful pictures that have got flowers in the background and have been, brightened a little bit. It's just so nice to see all these pictures of Maureen. Now, you guys might remember from the case coverage these images of this belt. We're going to get to that, okay? So then Maureen had 16 interactions with the client who had a burner phone. And we know from the probable cause affidavit that Heuermann liked to use a burner phone. It's kind of how they caught him as well. It's part of it, They tracked down that green vehicle of his, and they saw him buying a burner phone at the time. They had footage of that and all kinds of things. But she had 16 interactions with a client who had a burner phone. Her last call was to a friend saying that a client was picking her up outside the Super 8 hotel. A friend, Sarah Carnes, actually received phone calls from a man who said that he had seen Maureen, that she was alive and, he said, staying at a whorehouse in Queens. Oh, my word. So, we know from the probable cause affidavit that Rex Heuermann taunted the families and friends of his victims. And this is another example of that. So, the MO matches, which is why, and being bound and where this victim was found with the others, it won't be such a shock, of course, if he is charged with Maureen's murder. Then they said this man had no discernible New York or Boston accent. It's so hectic because we looked at all of this before he was arrested. So it was like when he was arrested to finally see, oh my word, this is the guy that they believe is this Long Island serial killer. And we've done a deep dive. We've even flown around the area using a flight simulator and all sorts of things, right? Yeah, Tiff Knox says, sounds like him with a disparaging language. Yeah, it does, right? So her body was found on December 13th of 2010. 13 years ago. So think about that. Just think about 13 years ago. Her family learned that, oh my word, her remains were found. They knew she went missing, and it took, that was already excruciating. It was long to wait to hear what happened to her. Like 3 years later. And now it's been 13 years, still waiting for answers. Shame. Tom Webster, hey, nice to see you. You said thank you. Thank you for the bullet point summary. We do love bullet points. It is my pleasure. If you like bullet points, you're in the right place, because that's pretty much what I do. If you read any of my books as well, it's pretty much written in that type of format. Love bullet points and layers of information, right? Okay, so they said, and just trigger warning, I did have a trigger warning before I started this episode, but of course some details about the murders can be distressing or triggering for anyone, okay? So just be mindful of that. She was allegedly strangled. Her body was not wrapped in burlap. She had been bound with 3 leather belts. One was around her legs. We're going to get into more details when I show you the probable cause affidavit, just highlighted points again. But that's interesting, because a lot of the DNA that I thought they may have had was from the burlap, right? Now, there was this belt. And we heard about this belt in 2020. That's already when they told the world about this belt. Remember that? I wasn't on YouTube yet, so you didn't see it with me. Then, we did see it though in 2022 together. We went over all of that, okay? So in 2020, former Suffolk County Police Commissioner Geraldine Hart released previously undisclosed evidence to the public in an effort to advance the investigation. It was a cold case. All right? And so, police released photos of a belt believed to be handled by the suspect not belonging to any of the victims. Now, if you guys remember the stories we've heard from that attorney, John Ray, and the affidavits we've read through, there was one story where it was a police officer and his girlfriend that went to Rex's house for like a swingers interaction. And there we learned that that guy's belt went missing, and it didn't sound like he got it back. I can't remember if he got it back or not, but the visual movie in my mind was that, which stops at the point where him and Rex go into a room. I'm like, no. So anyway, the belt, he was looking for that and had to go back into the house to get it. So we started speculating, whoa, did Rex Heuermann either take people's belts? Did he like steal belts, or did he buy them? Did he use some of his family's belts? We're going to get into that speculation in a moment, okay? We've speculated before, and it's already been said by the district attorney before as well. Not that Mickey is giving you all a South African lingo lesson. Thank you so much. And thank you for, the 350 South African Rand sticker. Thank you so much. Now, in 2022, I'm going to talk about the belt more now, okay? But I just want to say, current Suffolk County Police Commissioner Rodney Harrison established a multi-agent task force that includes representatives from the FBI, New York State Police, Suffolk County District Attorney's Office, and the Suffolk County Sheriff's Office to reinvigorate the investigation and bring the person or persons responsible for these crimes to justice. So we saw that in 2020. We saw the task force. We saw more press conferences and more information started coming out. But man, this was huge speculation time when they released pictures of this belt, because people are saying, is it HM? Is it WH? You know, what are these initials? Does it mean anything? Is it a symbol? All sorts of things. Now, you know what's interesting is a few months ago, we'd done a deep dive on Rex Heuermann's entire life, like from birth, you know, his whole youth, adolescence, adulthood, first marriage, second marriage, the whole thing. So if you haven't seen that, you might be interested in refreshing yourself on that. We found out then that his grandfather's name is actually William Heuermann. So could this belt be WH, like William Heuermann? It could be. It could be. Yeah, Renee. There you go, thinking we're on the same page. So it could be. It might also not be. It might be someone else's belt, but very interesting, right? I just remember seeing pictures of this belt in this cold case, which is a serial killer case. It's so scary. Like to have, I know there's many serial killers that actually aren't caught. There's many active. They say it's getting less over time, you know, I think with technology and cameras and everything. But still, throughout the years, to just think, whoa, this case went cold. And of course, there was police corruption and everything before. We've gone over that as well with that James Burke. And anyway, let's focus on this right now. So yes, this is what District Attorney Ray Tierney said. We'll see him tomorrow on his Instagram account, live streaming the press conference. He said, yes, there was a WH or HM on the belt. The last name is Heuermann. They are ancestors with WH, so assign to that what you will. Okay, that's what he said. Assign to that what you will. Although the DA did not elaborate, the initials WH match Heuermann's grandfather, William Heuermann, who died in 1964. There was a question here that is still being tested that was removed by the buckle of the belt. So I'm just reminding you guys of this because, see, this takes a while. And we want to be really prepared for tomorrow, right? When we are all, as the Grizzlies, going to watch that press conference, we'll be so refreshed on the case, we're going to know, okay, wait. If they say this is what happened and this is what he's been indicted with, you'll be all prepared. If they don't, hey, you'll be prepared for when that happens, right? Rob says, looking forward to the press conference tomorrow. Me too. We do love a press conference, and we will boost the sound, right? If you've never been here with us before, you know sometimes press conferences, the sound can be really bad and things like that. Here at Grizzly True Crime, we boost the sound and the colors and make it the best we can, the best viewing experience we can to hear everything and see everything. So they said one had WH on it. One had the distal end of the belt cut off, meaning the end of the belt furthest from the buckle, and it was cut off. And that would have been the section where, had there been initials on it, that's where those initials would have been. Interesting, very interesting. Okay. Yeah, so Whispered History said it could also be HM as in Heuermann. It could be, yes. Yes, we've speculated that before as well. Heuermann or William Heuermann, or imagine if it's none of the above. Just to remind you, the press conference is at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and it will be streamed on District Attorney Ray Tierney's Instagram account. I'm not making that up. That came directly from his office, okay? I'm sure there'll be other media out there streaming it, so we will see that. We'll be here together to watch it live. Okay, so just to remind you of the map, just to show you this quickly. Oh, wait, make this bigger. There we go. Okay, so we've gone over all of the victims that could be tied to the Long Island serial killer before. I've also got some resources linked for you in the description box if you just want to refresh yourself on this. But I've put a neon box around Maureen Brainard-Barnes' photo so that you can see where she was found. There's a little yellow line that leads to that little point number 3, and that is where her remains were found. So very close proximity to the other 3 of the Gilgo Four. And I mean, again, I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be more charges in the future. Okay, so tomorrow at 9:30 a.m., January 16th of 2024, is when the press conference is apparently going to be. Okay, we'll go live just a little bit earlier, in case they go earlier, because New Yorkers are on time. I like punctual, I like it a lot. So we'll be ready. If you missed the beginning of the stream, then we went over the media briefing and what is to be expected tomorrow, that they're going to be announcing some major development, a significant development, which even the former commissioner, the police commissioner, Rodney Harrison, who's now resigned and no longer on the task force, which is very sad, he also had speculated on interviews with Newsday and with Joe Giacalone that very soon the district attorney is going to announce the fourth victim's murder is going to be, Rex Heuermann will be charged with the fourth victim's murder, Maureen Brainard-Barnes. So we were really, the way you said it was like very soon. We thought it's going to be like the next week. You know, I actually think at one point he said maybe next week. But it's taken a little while. These things take time. But yeah, possibly tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, Forensic Fuhrer says, I imagine there are many more victims. Now this is a little timeline that I've taken from previous presentations that we've gone over in detail. Okay. Whew. Tom says, I wonder if he looked at the previous bodies each time he went back to check the state of the bags or bodies. I wonder. So Maureen Brainard-Barnes, if you just look at this timeline, it gives you a good overview of just everything chronologically. 25 years old. She was last seen July 9th, 2007. Rex was 43 years old at the time. She was last seen leaving the Super 8 Hotel on 59 West 46th Street, New York. On July 12th of 2007, there was actually there were outbound calls to check her voicemail, which the police believe was the killer using her phone to access her voicemail, to listen to her voicemails. And if it turns out to be Rex Heuermann, if he's charged with it, that also won't be a surprise, because he did that to other victims. He called their families, he called their friends, and he also Googled a lot about them. Precy says, I wonder if they know the ID of Peaches, and they've been trying to track her movements and find a link to Rex. I think they don't yet, from what I know, right? Okay, today I'm like hyper-focused on Maureen's case in preparation for tomorrow, but very interesting. Okay, and then the rest, you can see how that timeline went. So Maureen was the first of the 4 from the Gilgo Four to go missing. And now the Gilgo Four discovery of the bodies was first Melissa Barthélemy, and then Maureen Brainard-Barnes, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. The rest of that we've already gone over. Her body was found on December 13th of 2010. So if he gets charged with Maureen Brainard-Barnes' murder, these are the 4 victims. It must be terrible to learn that a lost loved one was found like that on the beach. terrible details already, just a little bit we know, but then also to imagine that a serial killer got hold of them, that is, I can't even imagine. Okay, so here I've put a neon arrow for you for Catch LISK, at catch_LISK. Yep, I'm just checking in the underscore, yes. You can follow him on X, and he really advocates for victims, and he engages with empathy, and he's always, reminding people to not exploit situations. If you want to advocate, then advocate, don't exploit, right? And so I always follow what he's got going on, and he's made some incredible maps as well. You should see his Maptime for missing persons. He's mapped out just about the whole of America. And so he shared this. This was a little while ago, but I wanted to share it with you, which says a poem by Maureen Brainard-Barnes. So I'm going to read that in a moment now. Peaches. You guys, was Peaches... I'm just checking. Karen Bergado, the last press conference that we watched together, do you guys remember? Wait for it. Sorry, that's something I went over. That's why I'm going to focus on Maureen Brainard-Barnes. We're going to get to this in a moment, right? Okay, they identified her very recently. Now, she was not Peaches. She was known as Jane Doe number 7. She was known as Fire Island Jane Doe, from what I remember. Okay, so Catch LISK on X, if you want to follow them, go check them out. Shared this Make a New Reality, a poem by Maureen Brainard-Barnes. There's too many people so this is Maureen's poem, right, that she wrote. There's too many people walking around with plastic faces. Too many children hanging in the wrong places. Too many dirty cops controlling ghetto blocks. Too many fistfights ending in shots. Too many girls taking two wrong paths. It's not too late to do the math and figure out where we went wrong. Too many sorrows being drowned in the bong. It's time to wake up, get up, pick your head up, young one, because too soon the future will come. It's you that decides what you will become. Make a new reality. Pave a promising road for our sons. Too many females with low self-esteem. Too many countries fighting against our team. Too many people just looking out for self. Too many single mothers not getting any help. Too many politicians telling us lies. Too many people not asking why. It's time to take a step back, take our youth back from a pop society where people buy popularity and focus on money, sex, and fast cars, and you wonder why terrorists hate who we are. It's time to wake up. Pick up, young one, because it's too soon the future will come. It's you that decides what you will become. Make a new reality. Pave a promising road for our sons. Too many songs about thugs. Too many people hooked on drugs. Way too much time focusing on the body instead of on the mind. It's time to look inside and see what we find. Like Johnny Depp, open those secret windows in our mind. The future's yours. She was a poet, you guys. Okay. All right. So that is the poem that Catch LISK shared. Thank you so much, Catch LISK, for sharing that. Otherwise, I don't know if I would have found it. Although I would recommend, if you guys have never listened to the audiobook called Lost Girls, an Unsolved American Mystery. I'll link it in the description box, by Robert Kolker, or read there's an ebook, there's a paperback, all of that. I'm listening to the audiobook. Sure, it's very detailed about all the LISK victims. What an incredible job that was. So maybe we'll learn a lot more there as well. Okay, now let's see what else I've got. I think that's it for my presentation. Let me just see. Okay. So we've got that. So one more time, for everyone who's only joining the stream, Rex Heuermann will be in court tomorrow. It is believed, rumored, that he will be indicted on perhaps a 4th murder charge. It is speculated that he will be indicted on the murder of Maureen Brainard-Barnes. That's why we're discussing this today, in preparation for if that happens, and we're refreshing ourselves. Now, the press conference, to show you one more time here, will be at 9:30 a.m. Tuesday, January 16th of 2024, and they said the Suffolk County District Attorney Tierney announcing major development in Gilgo Beach homicide investigation. All right, so now I've got some clips to show you as well, but I just quickly want to go back to this 32-page probable cause affidavit just to show you what it says about Maureen Brainard-Barnes. So, of course, here you can see initially the charges that Rex Heuermann has faced so far: murder in the first degree of Melissa Barthélemy, murder in the first degree of Megan Waterman and Amber Costello. Also, murder in the second degree for each victim: Melissa, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. So here they say discovery of the victims. On December 10th of 2010, police officer John Malia was conducting a training exercise with his K9 partner Blue along Ocean Parkway in Gilgo Beach, Suffolk County, New York. During the course of the training exercise, Blue, and shout out to Blue, located a set of human remains. If it wasn't for Blue, none of these bodies would have been discovered. Isn't that hectic? Oh my word. Okay, so they said Blue located a set of human remains. The remains were later identified to be those of Melissa Barthélemy. 2 days later, on December 13th, 2010, the SCPD continued to search in proximity to where the remains of Melissa Barthélemy were recovered. On that date, members of the SCPD found 3 additional sets of human remains within 1/4 of a mile of the first discovery. See image below. These 3 additional sets of remains were identified as those of Maureen Brainard-Barnes, Megan Waterman, Amber Costello. The cause of death for all 4 women was determined to be homicidal violence. The investigations into these deaths were linked, as in addition to other factors, the victims each appeared to have been placed in close proximity to one another, 22 to 33 feet from the edge of the parkway. All were petite females, approximately 22 to 27 years old, believed to be working as sex workers. All had missing clothing and personal possessions. Which I wonder if they found some of those, trophies. Unfortunately, oftentimes that's what serial killers do and take, right? They take trophies. I wonder what they found at Rex Heuermann's house when they searched. All had missing clothing and personal possessions. All had been killed by homicide, and all had contact shortly before their disappearances with a person using a burner phone, which you just learned from my presentation. Again, we've already gone over this all before. But yes, Maureen Brainard-Barnes was also contacted via CRAIGSLIST from a client using a burner phone. Okay. So then they say, i.e. cell phones without an associated verified identity, and the cell phones of 2 of the 4 victims, Brainard-Barnes and Barthélemy, were used by the killer after their deaths. So tomorrow will be a significant update if that's what it is. In addition, each of the 4 victims were found similarly positioned, bound in a similar fashion by either belts or tape, with 3 of the victims found wrapped in a burlap type material. And Maureen Brainard-Barnes was not. She was the one victim out of the 4 from the Gilgo Four not wrapped in the burlap. Again, I said then tomorrow is going to be very interesting, depending on what they are able to tell us, right? They've got to keep details to themselves for the investigation, but I'm hoping they'll be able to share something. Sipe says, thank you for your work in keeping victims in the forefront. Thank you, Sipe. I really appreciate it. All right, so now they said here, 3 of them were bound in this, wrapped in the burlap type material. So let me just go to the next point here. So here is from this probable cause affidavit, which is an entire video reading all the footnotes, reading all the pages, which you can check out on my playlist for this case, LISK, right? The disappearance and murder of Maureen Brainard-Barnes. Maureen Brainard-Barnes was last seen on July 9th, 2007 in New York City. At that time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. On July 6th of 2007, Ms. Brainard-Barnes' cell phone was contacted by a burner phone. Between July 6th of 2007 and July 9th of 2007, there were 16 interactions between this burner phone and Brainard-Barnes' cell phone. On July 9th of 2007, the last cell site location for the Brainard-Barnes cell phone was at approximately 11:56 p.m. in Midtown Manhattan near the 59th Street Bridge. Thereafter, the Brainard-Barnes cell phone had no further activity until July 12th of 2007. On July 12th of 2007, 3 days after her disappearance, 2 outbound calls were made from Brainard-Barnes' cell phone, checking her voicemail from a cell site location near the Long Island Expressway in, do I say Islandia? I can't remember now. I will be streaming the hearing, you mean the press conference? Hannah Fullwood is asking. We will be watching the press conference live tomorrow because they will be streaming it on District Attorney Ray Tierney's Instagram account. Not too sure why, but yes. Yes, indeed. Okay. So then, they've told us there what happened, what they believe happened here when Maureen Brainard-Barnes' phone last pinged, and that it was used 3 days later to access her voicemail. Then, if we continue, I've just searched, in this document for Maureen Brainard-Barnes. They say neither cellular telephone billing records nor travel or financial records could be obtained for defendant Heuermann's wife for 2007, as such records were no longer available due to retention policies. Therefore, it's undetermined at this time defendant Heuermann's wife was traveling out of state during the time of Maureen Brainard-Barnes' disappearance and murder. Now, the sentence above said a review of these records, as well as Heuermann's American Express records, showed numerous instances where Heuermann was located in the same general locations as the burner phones used to contact victims Barthélemy, Waterman, and Costello, as well as the use of Brainard-Barnes's and Barthélemy's cell phones when they were used to check voicemail and make taunting phone calls after the woman disappeared. Significantly, investigators found no instance where Heuermann was in a separate location from these other cell phones when such communication event occurred. Okay, so I'm going to just go to the next point where we search for Maureen Brainard-Barnes in this document. The Thork email account was used to conduct in excess of 200 searches. He had some very, very concerning searches. Trigger warning, I'll just go up here so you can see it for a second. Oh my goodness. I've read it once, I'm not going to read it again. We went over it out loud before. Okay, so the email account was also used to conduct in excess of 200 searches between March of 2022 and June of 2023 related to active and known serial killers, the specific disappearances and murders of Maureen Brainard-Barnes, Melissa Barthélemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello, and the investigation into their murders. These searches or articles accessed include, but are not limited to. So apparently, this is what Rex Heuermann had Googled. Why could law enforcement not trace the calls made by the Long Island serial killer? Why hasn't the Long Island serial killer been caught? Long Island serial killer phone call, and all of these, right? And then, of course, he also searched the names of his victims. Now, what's interesting is that he searched this name, John Bitroff. I've got some episodes on that as well. In fact, we had a conversation with criminal profiler John Kelly about that case, so check that out on my playlist in the video section. John Bitroff has also been in court lately. I think he was actually in last week, which I'm keeping an eye on. I think that's also interesting because there is speculation that he could have used the same area to dispose of the bodies. Could have, maybe all 11 murders are not linked to one killer. He could, which is interesting that Rex Heuermann was Googling John Bitroff, don't you think? Anyway, so he was actually searching the victims' names: Megan Waterman, Melissa Barthélemy, Maureen Brainard-Barnes. My goodness. Okay, so I'm just for today. Remember, gone over this before. All right. We've Miss Holmes says, when did you go over it? We've gone over it. It's on the playlist. You can just see it there. It's the probable cause affidavit or whatever this main document was called. I think I said on the thumbnail, like, how did they catch him? It's all on the LISK playlist. Just go through it there, and I'm sure there's a lot to refresh oneself on. I mean, what a rabbit hole this case has been, right? Of course, and there's so many potential victims. It's very scary. Now, we've looked at this one already, yes. The Thork email account was used to conduct 200 searches. Okay, we looked at that. Maureen Brainard-Barnes, yes. Now, here, again, trigger warning. It's not nice details to hear, of course not, about a victim. I just want to give you the information. We've gone over this before, but I'm going to read this little paragraph here. So they wrote, Maureen Brainard-Barnes. Ms. Brainard-Barnes had been left restrained by 3 leather belts, one of which was utilized to tie Barnes's feet or ankles or legs together. During the examination of the belts, a female human hair was recovered from the buckle of one of the belts by the Suffolk County Crime Lab, hereinafter female hair on Barnes. So they might announce that hair has been identified and could belong speculatively to Rex Heuermann's wife. We don't know that, but it could, because a hair found on the burlap has already been attributed. In case you wonder, is it this hair that they recently said matched Asa Ellerup's DNA and that she was given a buccal swab the day that her husband was arrested, which everyone was like, what? Which I understand, but I think they were just doing their due diligence at that time. I still give her the benefit of the doubt, as you know. I know some people are like, get her, but we just gotta be careful with that, give her the benefit of the doubt and see what happened. But now, that was her hair apparently found on one of the burlap, it's not really a sack, it was burlap type material, right, that the victims had been wrapped in. Now this says during the examination of these belts on Maureen Brainard-Barnes' body, a female human hair was recovered from the buckle of one of the belts. Okay, and so they said this was able to determine it corresponded to a Caucasian head hair fragment. Although this hair was not suitable for nuclear DNA profiling at the time, it was subsequently submitted for further DNA analysis, and they said see below. Now we've gone over that already. Okay, I think I went over everything about Maureen in this document. So we've gone over, everything that I wanted to show you there. Now let me just quickly fetch this because there's a couple of clips and things I want to show you. One would be, look what's trending in the Netherlands on X. We want to show you this though. This is from Mary Murphy saying Newsday reports Rex Heuermann, the accused Gilgo Beach serial killer, will be back in court this Tuesday. It's believed that grand jury action will be announced in the murder case of Maureen Brainard-Barnes, the final victim of Gilgo Four that Heuermann was tied to. Now, why they say was tied to is because they did name him as the primary suspect in the death of Maureen Brainard-Barnes. Okay? So, we've got that one. Then, what was this? I've lined up a few things here. Let's see what I've got here for you. They said Gilgo Beach. Let's just take the adverts out. Okay. Gilgo Beach suspect Rex Heuermann to be charged. See, they just running with it with that headline. We don't know. I don't know it. But they say they've got sources that know it. So Gilgo Beach suspect Rex Heuermann to be charged with 4th count of murder this week report. This is from the New York Post. I'll put all my sources in the description box if you want to check it out afterwards. Accused Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann is expected to be charged Tuesday. That's tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. is when the press conference is. So he'll be in there early because he's going to be in before that. With a 4th count of murder for the death of Maureen Brainard-Barnes, according to a report. Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney will announce the new charges once they are unsealed in court in Riverhead, according to NBC News, citing a person with direct knowledge of the situation. Heuermann, 60, was named the prime suspect in Brainard-Barnes' murder when he was charged over the other so-called Gilgo Four slayings of sex workers found strewn. This language is just, I'm just very sensitive to it. Okay, I can't help it. I'm just like, damn, slayings and strewn. I don't like it. So anyway, Gilgo Four, yes, victims' bodies were found on Long Island Beach within days in December of 2010. Brainard-Barnes, who disappeared in 2007 when she was 25, was found bound by a distinctive belt stamped with the initials WH or AM. So that's going to be, I wonder if we'll get any clarity on that belt yet, which could have belonged to Heuermann's grandfather, William Heuermann, prosecutors have previously argued. Heuermann, a New York City architect and married dad of 2, was arrested this past July last year in connection to the notorious Gilgo Four case. Authorities were able to pinpoint Heuermann as the suspect after DNA from the hair of victim Megan Waterman matched that of his taken by investigators from a discarded pizza crust in January. He didn't eat his pizza crust. Sure, this face, hey? Oh my goodness. All right, so Heuermann was charged with murdering Waterman, 22, Melissa Barthélemy, 24, and Amberlynn Costello, 27, whose remains were found wrapped in burlap within days of each other near where Brainard-Barnes was found. All 4 women are believed to have been advertising as sex workers when they vanished between 2007 and 2010. The years-long investigation that led to the arrest revolved around the discovery of more than 10 sets of human remains along Ocean Parkway near Gilgo Beach in Suffolk County between December 2010 and April of 2011. His arrest also comes after Suffolk County created a special Gilgo Beach homicide task force in February of 2022. Neither Tierney's office nor a lawyer for Heuermann immediately returned the post request for comment early Monday. Okay, so now again, I just want to quickly show you this as well, which is from gilgonews.com. I think this is already linked in the description box. Yes, they've got, it's made by the task force, gilgonews.com, which is pretty incredible that they made this. I think that the former police commissioner, Rodney Harrison, did some excellent work on this case. All right. So Maureen Brainard-Barnes was 25 years old. Some of this information will be repeat, but as you know, we go layer by layer and we want to see everything. We want to get all the details, right? So in psychology, they say people only hear you the 7th time. So I'm hoping by the 7th time we go over some details, we'll all know it, hey? All right, so Maureen Brainard-Barnes was 25 years old when she went missing and was living at 180 Prospect Street in Norwich, Connecticut. She's believed to have taken an Amtrak train from New London, Connecticut to Grand Central Terminal in Manhattan on July 6, 2007. While in Manhattan, she was staying at the Super 8 Motel located at 59 West 46th Street. At the time, Brainard-Barnes, who was 4 feet 11 inches tall, was working as a sex worker advertising on Craigslist, Backpage, and other websites. She was known to advertise under the names Juliana or Marie. Her routine was to travel to Manhattan for a few days to work as an escort and then return home to Connecticut. While in Manhattan, she was known to stay at the Super 8, the Red Roof Inn on West 32nd Street, the Carter Hotel on West 43rd Street, and the Manhattan Hotel on 8th Avenue. She was apparently 25 years old, struggling a lot at the time with her finances. She had a lot of financial pressure. She was in a custody battle with her ex over her son, and she had a job as a telemarketer and needed some extra money. So she would go to New York sometimes and work as an escort. So she would take sporadic trips to New York, yes. All right. Okay, and so they said on occasion, Brainard-Barnes would travel with another female who worked out of a different room at the same location. They both may have used a male friend who they would refer to as their cousin to accompany them and offer a level of safety and protection. Brainard-Barnes traveled with her female friend the weekend that she went missing. However, her friend returned home early and Brainard-Barnes stayed behind. Brainard-Barnes was last heard from on July 9th of 2007 at 11:43 p.m. when she called a friend in Connecticut. Although she was known to work out of motel rooms, on the night of July 9th of 2007, she told her friend that she'd be going to meet someone outside of the motel on an out call. Brainard-Barnes was reported missing by a friend to the Norwich Police Department on July 14th of 2007. It's just so scary to hear those dates over and over again. It's like so long ago, right? Man. Okay, the NYPD assisted the Norwich Police Department in the missing person investigation, eventually taking it over. Brainard-Barnes was found on December 13th of 2010 on the north side of Ocean Parkway near Gilgo Beach during the search for Shannan Gilbert, who had gone missing from Oak Beach. She's believed to be the first victim in what is known as the Gilgo Four. So, I mean, the first to go missing, believed to be the first victim as what is known as the Gilgo Four, although as we saw from our presentation, Rex Heuermann was 43 years old at the time. I wonder what he did in all the years before that. There's speculation about that. There's other victims that may be tied to him. That's already out there. But just to think of it, I don't think he's going to wake up at 43 and just do this. I don't know. I wonder what he did before, right? Okay. So known photographs of Maureen Brainard-Barnes. We've seen these because they've been on the presentation as well. There's not too many photos out there of her, shame. And they say here, crime scene photos, which is the brush area along Ocean Parkway where remains were recovered, and the brush area along Ocean Parkway as well here. So in this type of brush, yes. Marshy is how they describe it sometimes. Here as well, we've gone over all of this. This is from gilgocase.com. There's a timeline here as well, which is very good, a good resource too that I will link in the description box for you. So yeah, her body was found December 13th of 2010. And they said on this timeline, she had been strangled. The leather belt is also under the evidence tab. Is Rex Heuermann arrested July 13th of 2023, charged with the murders of 3 victims. Will he be charged with the 4th tomorrow? Maybe. The leather belt, okay, this is where Suffolk County released images of this belt, which was found at Gilgo Beach at the crime scene during the initial investigation. We've looked at this many times in today's stream. And so this press conference, actually, that's linked here, we watched together when they showed the belt. And this was a while ago. It's on the playlist, right? They showed the belt and everyone was like, what? Like it's, you know, a clue. Could anyone help identify do they know who this killer could be? Do they know who this belt belonged to? Doesn't sound like it. Now they might. It could have been his grandfather's belt, as we speculated. And not that Mickey says, I hope law enforcement is watching. Geez, Maptime, timeline, bullet points, and presentations are helpful as a visual aid. And recalling evidence or facts previously discussed. Grizzly jury. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yes, International Grizzly Jury. Thank you. So, as I say, these are all really good resources. You can see tattoos of peaches and cherries and jewelry that they found. There's that baby doe, that's Peach's baby, that also hasn't been identified. It was Island Jane Doe that was recently identified as Karen Vergata, which was also a huge day in this case. Go and check out the playlist because we watched that together as well and went over all of that too. Okay, like we did now. We went over the background. So you can see here, Gilgo case, gilgocase.com. You can see home, victims. Sorry, I've got it sized a bit, but it's home, victims, timeline, evidence, maps, resources, and you can submit a tip. So if you look at the maps, they've mapped out exactly in case you ever feel lost. You know, you just want to see it quickly on Google Maps. You can have a look right here and drive the Google man around if you want. Just buckle up, okay? They said locations are approximate. The menu button at the top left shows the key and other viewable layers. So overview in other cases, Gilgo Beach, you see, Shannan Gilbert Path, Manorville, Gilgo Beach as well. So you can see that all there. I wanted to show you this clip here quickly, which actually I might have to boost just in case. It might not be the best sound. Wait, this clip, let me tell you the date. It's from 6 months ago. This from July, it was uploaded July 15th of 2023. Okay, so let's listen to this clip quickly.
In 2007, someone walked here through the doors of the Norwich Police Department to report Maureen Brainard-Barnes missing. In just a matter of weeks, police knew that this case was bigger than the Rose City.
Pretty quick. I mean, obviously we take missing persons very seriously, so we worked it aggressively, and then as soon as we could confirm they were in New York City, we went and turned it over to them.
Norwich Police Chief Patrick Daly wasn't top cop of the department when Brainard-Barnes went missing, but he was on the force.
In cases like this, it was a priority.
Brainard-Barnes was 25 years old when she went missing. Police believe she took a train from New London to Grand Central Station on July 6, 2007. She was working in the city as a sex worker at the time. A friend was the last person to hear from her during a phone call on July 9th. Not long after, the missing persons case began, and Norwich police got to work.
We'll ask the associates any contacts she's had with friends, any type of transactions that she may have had with her banking, cell phones, anything we can find to help pin down a location.
Brainard-Barnes lived in this house on Prospect Street, a good starting point for Norwich police.
People forget, and evidence gets overwritten, like say using security camera footage. Sometimes only have 7 days of storage, so you want to talk to people while the memories are still fresh.
In 2010, human remains were found not far from Gilgo Beach during a search for a different missing woman. This is that area on Ocean Parkway. Later...
And just look at that area. So I still think that Rex Heuermann is, of course, innocent until proven guilty. He's the suspect. And if it was him, whoever it was, I think they would have driven on that Ocean Parkway and just easily been able to hide the bodies in this tallish brush, right? Lady in Grey says, gee, you're right. A person doesn't just start doing this. I wonder if traveled for work or at other times when he was away from home. So he was an architect, as we know. And he's linked to many properties all over the country. We've gone over that before as well. If you guys missed that, just check out the playlist. I know I keep saying that. And I know it's a thing you hear from all YouTubers. Just check out my playlist. But like, for real, check out the playlist. We've gone over all those things before, right? The properties and what it could be linked to and all this other stuff. I mean, this case could really get so much bigger, which is a scary thought. I hope they will be able to solve other cases if he is linked to them so that those families can get answers.
In 2011, those remains were identified as Brainard-Barnes. Norwich police still has this case classified as active and open. Chief Daly says they will close it when Suffolk County does. In Norwich, Luke Hydash, Channel 3.
He says Norwich, you guys. When I said that, you said I'm going to say Norwich. Is it Norwich? I must say like a New Yorker. Like coffee, like Norwich. Got to first say coffee to get into it. I love it how New Yorkers say coffee. Okay, so now we're going to listen to this one as well. This one is from 11 years ago. A blast from the past. We're going to watch this clip from April 26th of 2012. Okay, here we go.
Maureen Brainard-Barnes was one of the victims of the Long Island serial killer. Her remains among the first to be discovered. They are now here back home. Her family, though, has never stopped fighting for justice. 25-year-old Maureen Brainard-Barnes, a daughter, a sister, a mother of two.
She always read to them.
Missy Can says her sister was last seen July 6, 2007. She had gone to New York City and never returned. Her brother, who is now deceased, and her husband jumped on a motorcycle and went looking for her.
So when my brother came back, he was just like, it's too busy there. Nobody knows no one. It's like everybody's a tourist.
Heartache compounded in December 2010. Maureen's skeletal remains were among 4 discovered along Ocean Parkway on Long Island. In all, the remains of 10 women would be found in the Gilgo Beach area.
I was angry initially because, I mean, someone took my sister's life and she was like discarded for 3.5 years.
The victims are believed to have worked as escorts who advertised on CRAIGSLIST. The families of those who have been identified now join forces. Can recently put on a Stunts for Justice fundraiser with the hopes of raising the reward for the Long Island serial killer to $30,000. An incentive for other escorts who may be too afraid to come forward, and help for those who no longer can.
They are important to the families that he destroys.
Maureen is now laid to rest beside her brother. Her gravesite, though, does not have a headstone because her family has been concentrating their resources and energy on finding her killer. We're on.
And that was 12 years ago, right? April 26th. 11 and a bit years ago. 12 years ago. April 26th of 2012. Oh my word. Like, shame. That's what I mean. They've been really waiting for a very long time for answers. Now, this resource, I'm also it's already linked in my description box. It is dandenny.com. And what an interactive map time. This is the best map time for this case I've seen. Oh my word. Like, I think that the district attorney might want to get in touch with this guy for their presentation time to the jury. I've just paused it here at this point. So if you go up, look, I'll show you. I'm going to go up, okay? You can go like this. And then look at all the little dots that light up of exactly. I'm not going all the way to the top. I just want to show you this interactive map. Look there at all the victims that were found. It's all chronological. What an incredible job. So Dan Denny, whoever you are, oh man, this is great. So here, Maureen Brainard-Barnes, last seen by a friend on July 9th of 2007. Her friend Sarah left her at the Super 8 Midtown. Maureen said she would stay until that Wednesday, July 11th. That was the plan. So you could just see all these little dots light up like this. Sure. So it's in the description box for you as well. Then this I just want to show you because it says here that the 3 women that Rex Heuermann is accused of killing, Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, and Amberlynn Costello, were discovered wrapped in burlap near Gilgo Beach on Long Island's South Shore in December of 2010. Maureen Brainard-Barnes, not wrapped in the burlap material, but yet that belt that we've seen that the task force wanted, you know, any tips about clues or anything. Now we know that that belt was found on Maureen Brainard-Barnes' remains. She had been bound with that and 2 other belts as well. Sure. Okay, so the map, I'm not going to play the map time song right now. I just wanted to show you quickly. It's now called the Hotel at Times, the Hotel at Times Square. So it's this one here. Is what it's called now. It used to be called that Super 8 Hotel, which is where Maureen Brainard-Barnes was last seen. So let's put the little man here. Yeah, in this area. Okay. I do love New York. I do. Should we drive around? Buckle up, everyone. We've flown around. We've driven around. Sure. So, yes, and Rex Heuermann, of course, lived all the way in Massapequa Park. Let's just see. Massapequa, yes. That would be an hour and 14 minutes away, but it apparently used to commute on the train. Somewhere around here. Where his wife and children are. Sure, there's been a lot of talk about that Peacock deal, huh? It's a $1 million Peacock deal that Asa Ellerup was getting to do a documentary. People saying that it's disrespectful to the victims, it's way too soon and all of that. But apparently the son of Sam Law, see, they got divorced, so then it was like a loophole. It's the only way I can word it, really, that she could do that documentary with $1 million deal. But apparently, I don't know if it's the district attorney or lawmakers or who, but they're working on refining the son of Sam Law so that no families of killers or serial killers could benefit financially like that from something like a documentary about the victims' murders. You know what I mean? That was a long sentence. Okay, so I think we've looked at everything that I wanted to show you today. How long have we been live here? Yeah, that makes sense. I thought it would be about an hour because there's a lot to go over. But you see, now we're prepared for tomorrow. So if that is in fact what the major update will be tomorrow, the significant development, now we are fully prepared. I do think it could be. It seems plausible. And of course, I'm just saying it's plausible. It could be. And mainstream media seems to have sources that are close to the investigation and say that is what it's going to be. That tomorrow, the district attorney, they say, will be announcing that Rex Heuermann has been indicted on a 4th murder charge, which would be for Maureen Brainard-Barnes. In that case, as absolutely grim as it is, I'd be happy for her family in the sense that, okay, finally they have some answers, you know? But it's not nice. Of course, it's not nice. So I hope you'll be there with me to watch it live. I'm not going to set it up, like I'm not going to make it public now, set it up so we can all chat there. Let's rather set it up tomorrow. Okay, so you're not going to teleport now. I know you guys are used to teleporting, right? We're not going to go there now. Meet me tomorrow. Make sure you are subscribed. If you do want notifications that go straight to your email inbox, then Patreon is the way to go. It's $1 per month and then you'll get all the notifications. And it's at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. And it's going to be streamed. I only giggle still because I'm like, what? It's apparently going to be streamed on District Attorney Ray Tierney's Instagram account. Ray Tierney DA. That is his Instagram account. And they say it's going to be streamed from there, which is very interesting, very different. All right, so thank you so much, everyone. I really hope that you learned something today or that your memory is refreshed so that we're all ready for tomorrow. And to answer Hannah's question, it's exactly that in South Africa as well. We have the British English there as well, you know, the UK type of English. So yes, same. I'm not going to say it now because it's going to get everyone saying those words about the salt. So yes, okay. 9:30 a.m. 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Press conference. Be there with your coffee, okay? For me, it's going to be afternoon. I'm still going to have my coffee. I think it'll be 3:30 for me. All right, everyone. So yes, finally, the family will have some answers, says Maria Flores. I hope so. And peace of mind and justice. I really hope so. It's the start of it, right? And I will see you in the next one. Please leave your comments below. Let me know what you think about this. Whatever it is we discussed today, check out the playlist as well. And then I'll be doing some timestamps now for you. And you can check that as well with the links in the description box. Okay? Thank you, mods. Really appreciate it. And everyone who supported the channel through stickers or whether you liked or shared or whatever you did here today. I really appreciate it. Check out my website, grizzlytruecrime.com. It's very user-friendly and there's a support page there if you do want to support the work that I do. Okay, everyone, have a lovely afternoon or evening or whatever time it is for you. For me, it's 10:40 p.m. and just about bedtime. Okay, bye, everyone.